Hi, it's Megan from Twiggle. So I want to talk to you today about the new UK law that's coming into enforcement on the 26th of May 2012. And the reason I'm making this video is because there's been a deafening silence about this new cookie law in the industry. And the reason no one's talking about it is because they don't know what to do about it. I was at the Internet World Expo in London a couple of weeks ago when all the big names were there: Google, Microsoft, eBay, all the big digital agencies. And no one was talking about the cookie law because they have no idea what to do about it. And you just tell they're dreading getting the question, what should I do about the new cookie law? So I'm not a legal expert. I'm not going to tell you what you should do about it, but I am going to explain what it is, and I'm going to tell you what I'm probably going to do about it, and maybe that'll help you come to your own decision about what's best for your business. So it all started as part of there's a new EU privacy directive, so all the EU member states are bringing in some form of this law, and it actually came into being in the UK in May of last year, but it kind of snuck through without anyone really noticing it, and all of a sudden there's this new law and no one knows what to do about it. So they said, okay, we'll give you a year to be in compliance, and then we'll start to enforce it. So that year is up on the 26th of May 2012. So with a few weeks to go, everyone's starting to scramble around and there's still not many answers out there. So what the law basically says is that you're not allowed to serve cookies on your website to visitors without them actively opting in and saying, yes, I agree to you using these cookies. And to most people that means absolutely nothing, which is part of the problem with this kind of ambiguous, confusing law, which in my opinion is bad for business owners and it's bad for users. But anyway, that's what the law is. So if you're running things like Google Analytics on your website, then that uses cookies. If you're running things like ads, or you're doing retargeting ads, or you have autofill forms, things like that, cookies are used for tons of different things. So chances are, if you've got a website, it's using cookies. So the law states that you're allowed to run essential cookies, so things that would be deemed essential would be for secure payment processing and things like that on e-commerce websites. But there's still a lot of ambiguity around what is essential and what isn't essential, and what they'll turn a blind eye to and what they won't. So you have a few options. One is you can comply fully, which usually involves something like a light box or a banner coming along the top of your website whenever someone gets there saying we're serving cookies, and have them actively take a box saying yes, I accept, I'm happy for you to run cookies, and download a little file onto my computer. The problem with that is that because most people don't understand what a cookie is, chances are they'll probably say no, which means that your site might not function properly, you won't be able to track your visitor numbers, and you just won't have a clue what's going on, and you have to spend money to get that little thing programmed to make it run on your website. So that is how you could fully comply, and you wouldn't have any worries about any enforcement. The second thing you could do, which is more of a kind of middle ground, is you can make it really clear on your website what information you're collecting, that you are using cookies, and you give your users clear instructions as to how they can opt out of that. And a great example of a company who's doing this already is John Lewis. This is the approach that they've opted for. So they've got a really clear cookies section in their privacy policy, and it's probably what I'm going to do on the Twiggle website, and it's probably what I'm going to recommend to clients for now. But with one caveat, it's probably wise to research how you could be in full compliance, just so that if they do start to get heavy-handed with enforcement, you're in a position where you can almost flip a switch, or it's not going to take long to get set up so that you fully comply. And the third option you have is that you can totally ignore the law and pretend that it hasn't happened and hope that it goes away, because there is a lot of opinion out there that it's a kind of ridiculous law. It's very ambiguous, it's not very clear what they want you to do or how they're going to enforce it, and it's totally different to what they're doing in the States. So US companies might not necessarily go along with it, which might force a change in the law. So I'm not recommending that option. I'm definitely going to go for the John Lewis style option myself, and also be in a position to flip a switch if they do come down heavy-handed. But the general consensus of opinion at the minute is that when they start enforcing it, they will probably go after a big name brand. So for small business owners, it shouldn't be too much of a concern, but it is really important to be aware of it and to do something and to demonstrate that you are aware of it and you've made some kind of efforts to make your website as transparent as possible to users, because at the end of the day, that's what the intention of the law was initially and should be. It's transparency for users and responsible use of their information. So if you can demonstrate that you value that and that you've gone to lengths to make that happen on your website, then fingers crossed, you'll be okay. But again, I must reiterate, I'm not a legal expert, and if you have concerns about it, you should take your own legal advice. But for what it's worth, that's the approach I'm going to take for now, and I will put a link below this video where you can see an example of kind of wording and privacy policy that I'm going to use. So if you've got any questions, you can just hit me up in the comments below or send me an email and let me know what's going on. Thanks for watching.